All right, we're glad to have you back. You see Sunrise on Salt TV here in Abakaliki. And of course, Amaka is still here with me in the studio. Right now, we're going to be taking the newspaper review with Amaka Izuchukwu.
All right, so let's look at what the newspapers are saying this morning. We've got quite a number of newspapers we want to take a brief look at. We've got This Day, we have Guardian, we have The Punch, we have The Sun, and then we have Vanguard. Let's begin with This Day. Let's see what This Day newspaper is saying. Right there on board, we have Cardoso Hill's growing investor confidence in economic trajectory. Again, General Hydrocarbons Limited floors First Bank in court. In historic deals, U.S. buys over 2 million barrels of jet fuel from Dangote refinery. And this particular one is actually something I like a whole lot, to know that we are beginning to make a whole lot of impact world over, right? So United States buying jet fuel from Dangote is saying something about the quality of fuel that Dangote actually produces, the quality and the value. And what that means is, I was looking at our story, what that means is that if the supply of jet fuel from Dangote to the United States, in addition to giving value to Nigeria and Nigerians, what it means is that the cost of flying in the United States will be reduced. And I'm wondering if we are able to supply jet fuel to Dangote, by the way, has supplied fuel to almost all the continents of the world. That brings to question why exactly we are still having to pay through our noses to fly right here in Nigeria. I could remember when with 18,000 naira, 19,000 naira, you can fly from Enugu to Abuja and maybe even get a return ticket. But now to fly, my brother flew from Benin to Lagos, and when he told me the amount, I fainted. Yeah, and it was a one-way ticket. But congratulations to Dangote. I hope they're able to resolve whatever impasse it is they are having with NNPCL and the marketers, so we can begin to actually enjoy the benefits of having the Dangote refinery functioning in Nigeria. Now let's move over to The Guardian. The Guardian says mixed reactions through proposal to hold general elections in one day. Now the Reps is proposing to have the elections, the governorship elections, the presidential elections held in one day. Minister unveils 5 million jobs initiatives for youth. Federal government begins crackdown on irregular migrants August 1. Atiku rallies support for new political movements to unseat Tinubu. Natasha petitioners yet to meet requirements for recall, says INEC. And appeal court stays action on Bayero's Sanusi Tasso, returns parties to Supreme Court. And now in all of this, again, we see the General Hydrocarbons Limited floors First Bank in court, tucked away at the upmost corner. But what really interests me here is FG begins crackdown on irregular migrants August 1, and I've just been wondering how that is going to be possible, because number one, Nigeria as a country doesn't have a particular route through which people can come into the country. There are so many uncharted and undocumented routes through people can come into Nigeria. There are those that all you need to do is cross river. If you go to Afikpo, you would see there is a river that you can cross and you're already in Cameroon, right? It's just a river. And then in so many other parts of the country, there are so many uncharted and undocumented exit and entry routes into Nigeria. It's in Badagry, all right? It's in so many other places. So how are we going to do that? And how do we even begin to identify the people that are citizens of Nigeria and the people that are not citizens of Nigeria, when with enough money we hear that if you're able to pay, you will get the NIN so very easily, even as a non-national of Nigeria. So how exactly are we going to keep track of illegal migrants in Nigeria. Again, that other story, Natasha, petition has yet to meet requirements for recall, says INEC. Now, the court has finally given INEC the go-ahead to begin the proceedings for the recall of Senator Natasha, who represents Kogi Central. But INEC is saying that, yes, a petition has been submitted with about 250,000 signatures, people who say, let's recall this person. But INEC is saying that, man, this petition doesn't meet requirements. There are no, we have names, but there are no phone numbers, there are no addresses, there are no emails attached to the signatories. There is only but one phone number, and that's for the lead petitioner. But INEC, it stipulates that if you have to recall a senator, you need to get a signature of half of the constituents, at least 50% of the constituents, to sign, to endorse and say we want this person recalled. But much more than getting their names and signatures, you need to include their phone numbers, you need to include their email addresses, and you need to include their addresses so that it can be confirmed that these people want this thing. And as someone is saying, this is just a sham, all right? How do we know that those people signed this petition? How do we know it is not Akpabio who is paying people to put up this? And another person is saying, listen, for a country where on election day you do not see 50% of people come to vote, how come we have 50% of people who did not vote saying they want to recall this person? It's a lot. We'll get to talk about that much later. Let's now move to the Daily Sun and see what the Daily Sun has to say. Again, we'll have the rep seek conduct of Guba presidential polls same day. Proposed termination of governorship election disputes at appeal court. Bills on state, local government police, other skills second reading. Now, we are seeing virtually the same thing we have seen in the others, except for the fact that we are also seeing reverse emergency rule or fixed strike. Labor threatens FG. When I saw that story last night, I do not know why, but it seemed very funny to me because because for a while now, Labor has been a toothless bulldog. So what I asked was, really? When was the last time Labour set out to do anything, even embark on a strike to achieve a common goal, and it was achieved, especially in this Tinubu's regime? Well, I am here to see what eventually becomes of Labour's threat. Let's see, maybe it's Labour's own that Tinubu would hear and reverse what has been done in Rivers State. Let's look at Vanguard now, and I think the only thing we'll take on Vanguard is bid to bomb another pipeline in Rivers. Foiled. Police, Army, Navy, Air Force, others. Failed democracy, presidency tackles Obi, others. We have that one, Boko Haram raids to military formations in Borno. And on sports, Super Eagles qualification hopes dim. Well, I've tried to get the opinion of all the people who are sports lovers. Man, no one is smiling as it concerns our show yesterday at the stadium in Uyo. And now I do not know why people have to blame Akpabio for how Super Eagles behaved. Mm-hmm. Someone said this match should have been taken to Abuja, and you people now went to take it to Uyo. Now the Akpabio factor has happened, and we tied the match. Someone says Ndidi and who is that? Ekong should never start a match, but that's all people say. But the good thing was we did not entirely lose. We just have to try harder. And let's get to the punch. That's the final one, so that we can now take, I can hear from Laura. First Bank files appeal that we already know. Dollar for petrol. Marketers protest. Excuse me, marketers protest. Dangote export fuel to US, others. And then in bold, sexual harassment hearing. Senators Ezekwesili clash. INEC faults Natasha's recall process. Ex-minister slams Senate over bias in sexual harassment case. Hearing adjourned indefinitely. Now, this particular Senators Ezekwesili clash is something that's been trending on the social media as soon as it happened yesterday. And I'm not going to dwell so much on that because we are going to be seeing a video of that particular clash, and then we can talk about it. Let me know which of them are interested, which of the headlines is of interest to you, Laura.
Well, Amaka, you've almost said everything that I would have said, but on the issue of labor, I think, well, I wouldn't describe them as toothless bulldog as such. It's just that when you are faced with certain realities and your client does not respond in a way that is expected, it appears that you are not doing much. But I would think that with that level, even the implementation of the minimum wage, which is still in the air, we wouldn't have even had anything about that. Yes, they have not been so, pushed through or so, standing by what they say, like, okay, we are going on strike, and come rain, come shine, we are striking. Well, these days it's like you die on your own. You understand? So even when people are coming out to say, I want to do this, we want to go on strike, we want to take this stance, you are doing it with caution, knowing fully well that in Nigeria, anything can just happen at any time. So let's hope that this other fight they want to engage in, that it becomes fruitful. That is on the aspect of labor. I just differ a little with, the toothless bulldog of a thing. They are still bulldogs, it's just that they are not biting as much as would you.
I don't think they are biting at all, because the truth is, let's take a look to the 2 or 3 industrial actions that have been called for by Labour from last year to this year. Number one, not everyone even joins the Labour. You see that Labour is saying we are down in our tools, and that's when people will go to office. They want to be the first at the office, because they say, if you cut this small one now that they are giving us, what will I do? No. And then Labour says, listen, we are going for 140,000 naira minimum. And the next day they say, okay, you know what, you can just go back to work, we'll collect 70,000. None of those things that they have actually told the people they were going to do, they've not seen any of them to a definite conclusion. And it would seem as if they do not even carry Nigerians along. They say it even when people would want to support them and come out. The next thing is, arbitrarily, they will just call off the whole thing, and you do not even know. So what's the conclusion?
You see, in that let's go on strike and people are going to work, if you recall, and we are even experiencing it, it appears that poverty has been weaponized in Nigeria. You understand? So it has become a tool to fight labor. Because when you are not even sure of the next meal, okay, you're looking for a second address, you don't even have what it takes to start a second address. So you can't afford to miss even the very first address you have in terms of where you're getting your daily bread. So it appears that the government too has found a way to break the back of people. Do you understand? So
should Labour not find a way to actually meet the needs of the people? See, because some people would say that, they have given Labour money. Why are they buying car?
Yeah.
Why are they doing certain things?
They're also civil servants, and they're also facing the peculiarities of...
Your opinion is that they're not bullet's tooth dog. My opinion is that they are bullet's tooth dog. So I stand by that. She stands by her own. So which other one?
We just pray that somehow we find a common ground where government and labor can begin to reach agreements without having to go on strike and without people having to go hungry.
I actually do agree with you on that, because for this government to say you're going on strike so that Tinubu will do something, you're in a very long thing.
Exactly.
Any other one interest you?
Well, you did talk about the Dangote refinery, breaking that jinx of Nigeria never marketing to the outside world. I think it's quite impressive. But like you said, how has it impacted on us? It's not about enriching the super rich, but the people. We are supposed to feel the impact. The whole idea of having our own refinery in Nigeria, having independent refineries, so that at least we can begin to heap, a sigh of relief that yes, something is happening, something is coming in that we are feeling. As it stands right now, we are still buying fuel, at least in this part of Nigeria, we are still buying fuel for like 1,000 a liter. So the jet fuel, has it impacted? Can you conveniently, with the salary you're receiving now, you want to travel to Abuja or Lagos and say, okay, I can afford airfare? You know, you have to think about it. You have to like bend backwards.
You have to save, you have to book ahead of time, like 3-4 months ahead of time.
For you to, and save towards that, for you to be able to fly. So we have really not felt the impact. Yes, it's good that America will be buying from Nigerian refinery. It's good, all well and good, but we need to also feel it, the people of Nigeria. We need to feel that, yes, we are now getting foreign exchange that is coming in. Has it translated to us living a better life? Because the one like that is getting...
Please hold that thought. We'll come back to that maybe sometime, because NMPCL has been there for years and you never felt anything. It's just Dangote, a private person that started yesterday. Let's
it's not been as old as we are.
Laura.
No, true.
Hold on. Let's have that video now on what transpired yesterday at the hearing of Senator Natasha's sexual harassment petition. What transpired between our very own Senator Ebonyi and former Minister Obi Ezekwesili. Please, let's have the video. Thank you. All right, Laura, so you've seen that firsthand. I know you've seen that before now. What exactly do you make of that exchange? Now, someone who was in the house, Mr. Bani, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, was trying to say that Senator Ebonyi was already upset before Minister Obi asked him to please shut up so that she could be heard, right? And that was why Senator Ebonyi went all out on, just because a petitioner said, I'm not going to adopt this petition because the people who are part of the committee are already biased. So all of that.
Well, personally, I think it was a show of shame yesterday. I'm so disappointed because I expected better from our own senator. Coming from this part of the world, we are very respectful. And it doesn't matter the level of provocation. He's a distinguished, and like they take time to tell us, emphasize it, I'm a distinguished. The word distinguished has certain connotations, and there are certain characteristics that you as a senator must carry. There's an aura that goes with that office. So no matter the level of provocation, I expected, and secondly, he's a lawyer by profession, by the way. So there's a comportment that you must carry. I'm not holding brief for Obi, but I think that our senator overreacted, personally, you understand? And no matter how provoked, how emotional, and it appears that our senator has a personal interest in the Natasha issue, because you discover that every time the issue with Natasha and Akpabio comes up, he's so emotional about it.
He says he's a witness that he was actually at the home of where the, the place where...
Yeah, but he should be seen to be dispassionate about it. If you're in a committee, you should be seen to be fair. Because the way the whole thing is playing out is like he's taking sides already. You understand? And that shouldn't be. So for me, I don't think it was okay the way he reacted. And even when the mic, somebody was trying to off the mic, both his phone and that of Obi, you off it, they on it, you off it, they on it. So I also think that Obi at the point should have also stopped. You understand? Seeing how heated up the whole environment was. I mean, she's not new to things like that. She's a woman who is grounded in terms of, in areas of governance. She's been a minister. And when she was a minister, she had handled solid minerals, she had handled education. So, and these are areas that, they were tough ministries. So she's not new to governance. And she knows that people can, just let go. I think that as a mother and as somebody who is also older in the game, because she's far, far older than our senator in the game of governance and leadership, she should have taken, some of those things and sit back and let others react to him. So I think on both sides, they went overboard, personally.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. At some point, I think Obi too was trying to pull back, but the senator was so uncouth. I mean, it was so amazing to hear that someone we call a senator, a distinguished, honorable senator, could go ahead. He's 43, by the way, and Obi is 62, according to public records. To go ahead, called her many unprintable names. And I watched his interview on Arise last night, and from the interview, all I could say is that this is a man who is full of himself, right? Because in fact, when he finished talking, what I could say is that there are two classes of people, those in governance, the Senate and others, because he kept saying, why would Obi talk to him like that, a distinguished senator? And you forget that, and you forget that being distinguished means that you're distinguished in character, you're distinguished in comportment, you're distinguished in reasoning. All right, so even Obi, Nigeria, we have a culture, a woman does not tell a man to shut up. So if you feel that Obi overstepped her bounds, there are better ways of handling this. That is the point. There are better ways. There are better ways of handling this. Not acting as though you were a tout who just mistakenly landed in a house, in a distinguished house, and then because you mistakenly landed there, the thing has gotten to your head that you begin to think that no one is above you. No one can say anything to you. But the good thing is that before the end of his interview on Newsnight last night, he was able to say, that he regrets some of the things he said. So maybe we can cut him some slack on that point where he said he regrets some of the things he said. But that's a serious question. Nigeria needs to be reworked, rewired, and restructured. We need to look at the caliber of people who hold public offices. And our public officers need to know that their real names actually are public servants. They are there to serve the public. Remove the public.
We don't have servants. What we have are rulers.
Okay, so public rulers.
Yeah, we have public rulers because until they begin to see themselves as servants and not rulers, you understand, then this idea of who is like unto me will not stop. When you begin to see yourself like you are the Lord of the ring, those that elected you, election in quotes, and when you get in there, others become like ants, and you are the only elephant in the jungle.
Okay, so I think that's a good place to leave it today on Sunrise on Soul Television. Thank you so very much for being a part of us. I'm Amaka Izuchukwu. I'll see you on Friday.
Laura Amaz, it's been a pleasure having you on Sunrise today on South TV. Let's do it again on Friday. Do enjoy your day. I'm Laura Amaz. Bye.